Javi the Great, how are you, brother? Seeing you in here first. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, I have. There's Todd. How are you, Mr. Alexander? I'm having. Is it laggy over there with you guys? I'm having a little bit of a connection issue. Okay, that's what it's telling me. Okay, well at least we're good. Yeah, I have 30 minutes. Then I have this little appointment I have to go to, and then maybe after 9, perhaps, or maybe after 8, I could, you know, pop on for if there's more questions. But this is like specifically like a Q&A. I wanted to make it so I can see where everybody's head is at, and if there's any questions that perhaps I could answer. I'm here for those 30 minutes. How's everybody doing? All right. It looks like my connection is should be great again now. Make connection great again. I know everybody can't wait for that Sunday night, or yeah, I would say Sunday night. Sunday night, I'm expecting a nice crypto night, a very nice crypto dump. Segato, happy 4th of July to you too, my friend. Yeah, I got a couple of drifters on my head. There's one in particular who's been doing a very good job at copying some of my content and so many other YouTubers' content, but I'm leaving it be until the right time comes. Jam Bams, how are you, my friend? Nice to see you in here. So yeah, I have my eyes on that particular individual. Some people know, some of my inner circle people, they know who I'm referring to, but I'm leaving it be for now till the right time comes. Mr. Frankie Muhammad, how are you? Brendan and Ella's Adventures, how are you? What's up, AB? What is your take on those 65 billion shares Citadel sold but has not purchased yet? Uh, Thank you, Jam Bams. Hopefully, you're having and you will have also a great 4th of July as well. Now, as far as Frankie, as far as the 65 billion shares, um, I don't know if you've heard me before cover, like, or at least say that many times over, like in previous streams, and like many times. And I'm not saying this isn't like, oh, why didn't you watch it? No, I'm going somewhere with this. This relates to why Bigums is so high on the cat system. Okay, so the 65 billion shares that obviously Citadel, the market maker, they in simple words, they've colluded with the brokers with those payment for order flow apps, and they still delivered the IOUs to everybody, which is obviously became the failure to deliver. And the brokers kept the money. Obviously, they give the market maker their cut, and this goes into that whole thing that I've explained before. What back in February, as in how they were making money, and they were relating it to the repo and reverse repo process, because it was so obvious. You could see it. Like when I was saying it back in February, right now it's coming more to light with more DD on it, and people could see it actually with receipts. But I broke this whole thing down, back in February, March timeframe, and it was more like of the whole picture, how it goes from you all the way to the feds, and how it starts with it's basically you buy the share, the broker says, okay, I got you. It gives you the FTD. The market maker says, well, obviously that's what they're paying the broker for. The payment for order flow is to route these orders to them so they could directly route it through the dark pool. So it doesn't affect the price action. So we're getting screwed. Then the market maker needs to do this stuff and to continue to prolong the process. Obviously, you got these banks that are opening up big short positions like Bank of America and many other banks. It's just they're not coming to light exactly. And the numbers are also all reported. When it's self-reported, you know that it's BS. I own businesses, and I will say this real quick here. As I own businesses throughout my life, you know, smaller businesses close and open, sold, make a new one, and even the current ones. When you report your own numbers to the IRS, for example, so that you can pay taxes on your sales tax on all your things, one thing that goes is people send the numbers, you send the numbers that you make, because you obviously look at your credit card transactions and however much transactions you made in cash. And then you submit that to the IRS, and that's what the IRS sends you a bill in. You submit, let's say 10,000, they'll send you a bill for taxes for $10,000 worth of sales tax, not your profits, just your sales tax. Now, what a lot of businesses do, and this is, and if there's any IRS agents in the house, you could confirm this with me. What a lot of people do is they send their own numbers. Like they will send the credit card transactions, all of them, because, you know, that's something that they can't hide. They can be verified through the bank statements. And they send their own cash amount. So if they, let's say they brought in house $20,000 in cash in sales, since that's on the register only, what they do is they submit to the IRS saying, okay, let's say they make $10,000 in credit card transactions and 20,000 in cash transactions. Normally it's more credit card than cash, but let's just put it that way. So 30,000 total, 20,000 in cash, 10,000 in credit card transactions. They report the 10,000, but they only also add that they made $5,000 in cash transactions, which means when they submit that, they submit in 15,000 total of sales instead of a $30,000 worth of sales. And what that does, that obviously, as you could tell, limits the amount of tax that they have to pay back to the IRS. Now, here's the thing with that. The last entity, and this is very known also throughout all the business community. If you own your own small business, you could also put this in the comment chat, and you know that you could verify what I'm saying. If the last person you ever want to F with is the IRS. I personally think it's the most powerful entity in the whole government makeup body, because the IRS literally says, okay, we if they audit you, you're basically already on the base of, or the verge of, getting screwed. You're done. If they're already there, they will come. They will look at everything. They will send someone. They can even let someone sit in there in your place for a long time, for a month probably, to check out your sales and everything. If they see 2 registers in your place, I mean, again, I've seen it all. I've seen all this kind of stuff. So what happens here, again, let's go back to the subject of what we were talking about before I went on for another complete different realm, which is good info, right? Never mess with the IRS when you open up your own business, just so you would know. So basically, then they go to these banks. These banks are over leveraged in so many things, whether in Evergrande overseas, whether in stocks that, like with Russia, for example, before the war started, when they got completely, they were heavily invested in banks like the SB, the National Russian Bank. It got delisted. What was the name of it? spce, something like that. I think it was called spce. I'll pull it up right now for you. Oh, Sberbank, yes, SBER Bank. And that bank, basically, like a lot of these banks over here were also invested in that stuff. So before it got completely sanctioned, all the Russians. So what happened to all their investments? Because it became zero at that point. A lot of them are still holding that debt. They're holding that Evergrande crap. Go ask Goldman Sachs. They'll try to deny it, but we know what's up. In the trillions, not in the millions or the billions. So these banks are completely over leveraged on so many different counts, besides just the meme stocks. Now the banks need money and help. Where do they go? to the repo and reverse repo market. Now, the repo and reverse repo market, I explained many months ago as well, is not necessarily set up for the feds to be in it. It's most of the times, in fact, majority of the time, it's just between companies, like a bank and another entity, or a major entity with another bank, because they need liquidity. That's what the repo and reverse repo is for. Only in certain times when the markets are experiencing, like what happened with 2020, a major liquidity crisis, that's when the Fed intervene. Now, since they've intervened, we've seen it back in early 2021, and it started in, specifically, I would say around March, April almost. That's when it started taking bigger spikes. We started in the 200 million range, guys, 200 million. So it wasn't hard for somebody who just looks at numbers and data to see that this has to correlate with this. It just has to, because from 200 million overnight repo and reverse repo transactions to fly all the way over to now we're at almost 2.5, almost. We're last, what was it, Friday was at 2.3 and some trillion dollars. We look at that in less, literally like in about 1 year, in a year time frame, in exactly a year and 2 months time frame, the overnight repo and reverse repo transactions skyrocketed from about 190, 200 million transactions back and forth, all the way to 2.3 to almost 0.4, and soon inevitably is going to be about $2.5 trillion and perhaps climbing more. As we see, and now you can connect the dots here, Frankie and everyone else, as you can see how long we've been holding in our play. Look at the time frames and the coincidences, and look how this keeps climbing, and look how our FTDs keep climbing. Yet this has to give, and this is not giving yet. So when you're looking at all this picture, this is why I always say there is no specific catalyst, in my opinion, that will prompt us into the MOASS. It's just about when they'll be saying, okay, we can't keep doing this, we can't keep doing this, we can't keep doing this because it's not profitable. At the end of the day, each single one of those entities I just mentioned are all making money. The feds, they're not doing it just because they want liquidity in the market, because they care about the market. Sorry, Fed, I don't mean to say it like this about you. I know you have your feelings, and you don't like, no one likes to get hurt, but I'm calling it as it is. There's money in it for you. That's why you're doing it. All those you see the balance sheet that the Fed owns. Who are they going to sell all that stuff to? What was it? What was it last number? It was like a freaking $3.4 trillion or some 3 trillion plus. Who are they going to sell that stuff to? Who else owns that much or has enough money in the market to buy back all those securities and all that stuff? So there's a lot of money in it for them by doing so. The banks, well, they're tying all this shit up to the government's pocket. So basically, ultimately tying it all up to the taxpayer. They know that they're leading this willfully. Remember how many times, guys, I said that they want to crash the market. It's just when they crash the market. Why do they want to crash the market? So that the government ends up paying for this and printing, further making inflation even worse, well, catapulting us into a Great Depression, as I've also mentioned before. And soon I'm going to come out with some videos that replay some videos I echoed months ago, so that you guys can see that, hey, I'm not just saying that word because I want to say it, and I didn't really say it. It's just now there's so much attention on this stuff, more than even before, because before, majority of the movement was looking for catalysts. Now I feel like majority of the movement understand that, okay, this doesn't seem like there's a catalyst, a particular catalyst that can put us into this, because every time there is a catalyst, there is a loophole for them that they find and get right out of. And you, like in previous squeeze plays, normally, this is why this is already so different on so many different counts. It was never a whole movement, a lot, basically all of us, all retail, against all the other side, all the financial system. It was different completely. It was one entity versus one entity. And eventually whoever took, you know, the other one out. Oh, what's up? Say hi. All right. Thanks for the commercial break. Now you can leave me alone. I understand it's not your time right now, baby. So yeah, where was I at? Thank you, Bella. Bella just got me to lose my mind. That train of thought. Stop. It's trying to jump back on. She loved that whole attention. So yes, so like fridge, where was that? Yes, so like most of them didn't pay attention to the fact that now finally there's no catalyst necessarily that will catapult us in the MOASS. Because before it was like an entity versus an entity, two billionaires, two whatever big time companies or players, even like the Volkswagen. And then next thing you know, it was smooth. This guy took this guy out, squeeze, boom. Now it's completely different. And here's the funniest part. When I hear some creators, content creators that come out and say, be quick, be fast, be smart, giving you out, not necessarily giving you prices, but at least giving you a hint on to where to look to, like, oh, between this and that. And they mention stuff like 2 digits or 3 digits or 4 digits or whatever, or 5 digits or even 6 digits, whatever. Okay. Most of these guys, whether they're giving you a high estimate or a very low estimate to your liking or whatever you're hearing, know that they are giving you false information. Here's what I mean by that. They're giving you false information because they're pricing something that they don't really know the value of yet. How can they evaluate something based on the sentiment of the holders? So if me and you, let's say the stock only has 10 million people in it, and all the 10 million people were somehow in tune to each other, Bluetooth connected, and we all say we're not selling until, choose a number, the first number to come to mind, 10,000. If we all say, all 10 million people say that we're going to sell at 10,000 and no one sells for less, how can that YouTuber that is coming out to tell you that, oh, this will be $200-300, how can they factor that in? They can't. Everybody will paper hand and sell early. On the other hand, if everybody's sentiment was to sell very, very, very low and cover everything very, very low, the price action continues to climb. Now we bring in your comment, Frankie. 65 billion shares that just Citadel alone has to basically purchase back as a market maker that they never delivered on. And I believe that that number is also still deflated. It's actually more than that by now. So when you see all that stuff, all that buying back, just the reported numbers to us that what, like every day we've been more than 60% or more of the AMC float has been routed through dark pools, means covered up, repurchased by other entities. When that model becomes less profitable and not profitable at all, that is ultimately our overall catalyst. They can't keep moving on. Another catalyst is outside noise. You see how right now we are everybody's so concentrated and calling out the SEC, the AMC, they're calling out Adam Aaron. People are lashing out left and right, whether they're lashing out to the right place or to the wrong place. I do believe that lashing out at the CEO or Adam Aaron is kind of like yelling into a empty cave. Literally, like you're not going to get nothing out of it. You know, he is a CEO of a company and he can say, okay, I have to reach out to NYSE, and he have, as he said, and that's basically all he could do. He could also do another thing, but will it be politically smart? Maybe not. What he can do is he could go ahead and hire a private agency to go ahead, like what that West Christian guy was trying to offer, which is trying to verify the synthetics. Because according to the SEC, they don't see any synthetics. Well, okay, you don't have to see the crime to know that somebody doesn't exist there anymore, or that the crime didn't happen. But by doing so, if he was to do that, he could also hurt the stock and he could hurt the company, because that could easily catapult us into if there's nothing found, like a tipping gun, because it's so precise. Like even if you know that they're there, but you can't point them out or where they are, you lose that whole private investigation. And if you do that, now that becomes even worse on us, because the SEC will come out and say, look, this report showed that there's no, and now you could push this thing even further down the line. So it's very politically smart and strategic for him not to take a step without 100% knowing that, yes, this will bring that whole house down, the whole house of cards. And maybe when he said, when the right time is here, we'll pounce. I guess the best thing that people can say, when pounce, start a meme saying when pounce. I've seen it here and there before, but it should become more and more and more and more and more talked about. When pounce, when pounce, when pounce, because it's not putting pressure on the CEO. You're not attacking the CEO. In fact, you're not going to get anything out of attacking the CEO. And as far as for Gensler, we've seen for a year and a half what is happening. We can keep saying this to show them that we're there. We're still alert. We still want our attendees, and we're willing to keep, persistent on top of it, except we're not going to do no violence, no stupidity, because the last thing also we want to do is kick this thing down the courts. And then you're talking about years. And, at that point, you can only lick your own wounds from what you have brought, because people a lot of times have a lot of anger inside. And I always said that anger is sadness waiting and dying to come outside. That's what anger is. It's a lot of sadness within. And a lot of people, when they get to that point, if depending on, since there's a plethora of creators who's pushing so many different agendas, that could create confusion in your head. If this guy is saying 200 is your best, and this guy is saying this will never squeeze, and this guy is saying 100K per share or more, and this guy is saying, oh my God, we're going to wait until next year, and this guy is saying all sorts of things. If as the viewer, you're going to get so confused, and you're going to be like, okay, so who do I believe? And over a year and a half of hibernating over that atmosphere, inside of that atmosphere, you get your brain fried, hands down. So it's very important to keep your head and your eyes on the prize, which is how many FTDs are there? Many, millions and billions. How many does the market maker have to cover back? Billions. How many of the float is on a daily base going or being routed through the dark pool? It's a publicly traded freaking company, for fuck's sake. And sorry for the F-bomb, guys, but it's the 4th of July, I guess. And when I get passionate about something, I give you my all as far as when I say it and how I deliver it. However, it's a publicly traded stock. A publicly traded stock that is traded more privately than publicly. It will never make sense. Make it make sense, because you will never make it make sense. Whoever you are out there, 60 or more or over 50% of the stock for over a year and a half has been daily being traded, routed through the dark pool, which is being traded privately. And they get way better executions. And it's not just only pertaining to AMC. This is going on across to the whole market. The NYSE, the NASDAQ have submitted countless amount of comments to the SEC saying that, hey, well, one that I personally have seen, but that one speaks for a million, how they are so frustrated with the current process. Because even them, they're like, okay, so we're like, it's like, okay, this is where everything's supposed to come, but everything is going somewhere else in the dark pool that no one has access to, because the way that they're regulated, there's no regulation. This is why I covered that ATS regulation rule that we were going over the other day heavily on it, because they can do whatever. It's like wild, wild west in there. They can do whatever, and no one can ask them what they did. Someone could literally say, an AMC, I'm selling it in that dark pool for 100,000, and it can be bought and sold, and no one will have any receipts over it or nothing. It just dies between those two parties, which sucks for us. That's why we also don't get better. It especially gets even worse and worse when it gets to the penny stocks. The cheaper the stock is, whoo. Okay. Hopefully that answers that and many other questions, my brother Frankie. Screw the hedges, thumbs up. Pokes, how are you, my friend? Well, I'm glad I was able to catch you. Hopefully I got another, I would say about 5-10 minutes before I check out. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions that I can see here. And then maybe perhaps after 8 or 9, around 8ish, I might come back on again and do another session of Q&A. I know it's the Saturday, but it's early enough for everybody gets out. If there's a question that is hibernating within them that they just need to go out and feel better or be with family and enjoy the festivities better once they know the answer to it, if I have that answer, I'll be more than honored and happy. That's where my thinking was. That's why I came up with this live. It's just on a quick just a quick moment. B Ghost, how are you, brother? Do you Sagato is asking, do you think AMC will entertainment will become AMC conglomerate and change causing share recall? There's a good thought about this. They could. And here's the good thing, Sagato, about this. Minions just broke a weekend record as far as I heard last, and I looked, and they sold so far 129 million in tickets. Boy, I don't know if you were a short out there. I just got a specific direct message to you. I won't be surprised if by the end of this quarter, AMC could be debt-free. And when I say by the end of this quarter, as in not the second quarter, because it just ended, by the end of the third quarter, we could probably be debt-free. In fact, it's a very good chance if we continue this trend, because we're going to have a lot of cool movies coming out too. So as a short, fundamentally, you have no idea. And I think you do have an idea on how terrible this is becoming. And you know what I want to credit you guys with? Credit yourself, all of us as apes, credit ourselves for one main thing that we've been doing, besides buying and holding, which is the most important thing. We made sure, and this goes back to us, give a pat yourself on the back for this. We made sure that the fundamentals in AMC are also becoming, and been so far, very rock solid. Because think of it, let's make it make sense. The reported amount of investors in AMC is between 4 to 5 million people. I personally think it's way more than that, but let's just say it's 5 million. Those 5 million, when they say, I don't see why somebody would say, I'm investing in AMC, but then go to Cenmark. It makes no sense to me. But I would like to believe that at least out of those 5 million, there's 3 million hard dedicated, and not just hard dedicated, but fully fledged investors in the stock and in the company, to the point where anytime there's a movie and they're going to go watch, that's where they're going. And let me let you know this. Each person could easily influence 3 or up to 10 people. And that's something that is known in the marketing realm. I've been in that world and I know this. So that's how they approach it. Each person is responsible for 3 to 10 people. So even if that one person brings 3, influences 3 others, hey, no, I'll go watch a movie with you guys, but we can only watch it in AMC. I'm not going to no Cenmark. Your friends, even if they're not, or the other family members, even if they're not invested in AMC or Cenmark, they're going to be like, okay, well, it don't matter to me as long as we watch the movie. You just brought in more sales to the theater that way. And when you see that, that's it, literally over 9 million just on that small equation. One brings 3 out of 3 million investors in AMC who bring at least 3 each. That's 9 million people that are coming in to watch movies when they come out, especially any movie or a blockbuster. And all those people, when they come in, majority of the people don't go and just watch a movie and get out. They at least buy a bottle of water, popcorn, slushy. I personally love that slushy there. Even though I'm not a slushy drinker, but for some reason, when it's there, the slushy is amazing. The fundamentals are getting so much better and tighter. And in fact, even after MOASS, I believe that it's even going to get stronger, because people are going to be like, hey, this is what got me rich. I will always have a special place for it in heart. And a lot of people, it's actually after MOASS, it's even going to get more popular amongst the people that didn't even invest in AMC, because they're like, oh, look what it did. The name brand just becomes even stronger, even though we are the apex of our ecosystem. We are the apex. Cenmark is not. None of the other ones are. And that's ultimately also what makes us the very, very like the easiest person or the easiest undisputed hands down investment that anybody makes when they go into that movie realm. If they want to make an investment in the movie realm, where are they going to go? They're not going to go. I'm not going to go to Regal, invest in Regal or Cinemark. They're not even in the apex in their realm. They still have to compete. So if anything, it's going to be in definitely the conglomerate, or not the conglomerate right now. We'll put it this way, in the chain of AMC theaters. So with that being said, when they become debt free, can they venture out? Well, they already got in Highcroft, right? Outside investments. So there is a lot of meat to what you asked, Zagato. It's a possibility, yes. In fact, I even said that they should partner up with GameStop to buy out Netflix. Netflix is about to go bankrupt. Unless they know that it will go bankrupt, which will take some more time, but they're like right there per share. Look at it. Like it's 160, 170 a share. They could easily, because they're dying. Netflix is trying to add ads to their movies, to their shows now, and everything. So the reason why people went to get these subscriptions is not only to get to view these shows, but so that they can skip the ads and the whole search and thing. Well, now ads are about to pop back on. I'm assuming until you pay a certain fee or an extra fee, then you don't have to pay anything, or you don't see ads anymore. But that's BS, right? So I personally think that AMC can make a very good opportunity, and GameStop with that, as far as like a joint, because they said, Adam Aaron before said that they are interested. They're open to an open partnership with GameStop on something. They could do something like that. They've been in talks. I think Netflix is amazing. Why is Netflix, in my opinion, amazing? Because one, AMC can corner this market and that market. People who like to see movies when they first come out, you got to go see it in AMC. People who don't leave home, they're either afraid of COVID or, everybody's different. So you got to think as a business, you got to think for not how you see things, but more is what the people want, what the people need. And that way you could also capture that so that you could also air out movies. And this is a good chance for you to earn so many subscriptions from people. All that will dive into AMC's bank accounts. Monthly subscriptions, all these billions that Netflix is making. Yes, it's much less now because, they got so much competition, HBO and all that stuff. We could come in and easily bring out a special program that none of these other services have, which is a special time after movies first drop, like after the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks or the month in the theaters. This, like all the Netflix, like all the shows that AMC have or movies, they have a special fee that's a little bit less than what it is in the movie, but that was after a month or something. I mean, they can restrict it. I haven't thought of this long time, but I see the frame. I see how it could be set up. It's just how they're gonna, where they're gonna bolt things down and what they're gonna do and how they're gonna use it. And as far as for GameStop, they can make all their games, since people are stepping away from the hardware part where they want to hold the CD. I know some of you gamers love to have the physical CD, but since most people are going to digital, guess what? There you go. Netflix, you can press either on games or shows or movies. And that way, AMC and GameStop could easily be a one-stop shop for everybody at home. Everybody. It'll be a household name. And yeah, it could be a conglomerate that way. So right now they're invested in gold and silver and possibly soon in diamonds. I see them invested in oil fields. They can buy out so many U.S. oil. They can buy out Houston oil. They can buy out many struggling oil tankers and digging companies, drilling companies. They could buy out any of them. And right now, look at that. And they don't even have to be in that business, just like the Highcroft. They just benefit, especially since the trend is there and the petroleum is going to be crazy expensive. In fact, I feel like it's going to be more exquisite than diamonds and gold soon. So hopefully that answers it, Sagato. Okay, a few more minutes, and then I'll come back. If you guys want me to come back at around 8-ish, 8:30-ish, I'll come back on for more questions. Just let me know in the comment if you guys want me to come back. Todd Alexander. Appreciate it. Like, where's the likes? Yeah, where's the likes, guys? I'm just messing with you guys. Whimsy Chick, happy 4th. Rufus, how are you, brother? Wind pounce, yes, that's what I'm talking about, Todd Alexander. Anytime you come in here, ask me that. Wind pounce. Let's see. Mrs. Tahiti, how are you doing? Pop the like for the fireworks. Thanks, Whimsy Chick. All right. Jay Pratagi, how are you, brother? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. Hopefully everybody's having a great weekend and obviously enjoying the festivities. It's loud there. Yeah, they're coming up with something different here in Cincinnati, Ohio. They're saying I think they came up with this rule or law where people can't have access to some like really high quality like fireworks, like, you know, those ones that goes up and they like the Lord of the Rings style where Gandalf had, like, you know, shoots out a dragon out of whatever and then it continues becoming bigger and bigger, like, you know, stuff that can cause a fire. They took that out. They made this rule. I'm hearing about it now. I'm not 100% sure what it exactly states, but people can't have access to actual big time fireworks. So like people have access to all these stupid little ones, you know, like the ones like the sparkles and whatever, because people are taking it out of context here because we are in the borders of Kentucky and Indiana. And that's where people go buy that stuff because in those two states, there's no limits to like the effect of whatever fireworks. So people are going out there and getting some crazy stuff and they're firing them in between houses and stuff. So it can get dangerous, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. On the 4th, I'm going to see tomorrow also what if everybody respected that rule or not, but it's going to be tough. If you get caught with that, that's going to be something federal too. It's crazy. All right. So I feel like I've only seen 2 questions, which is a good sentiment in a way. I have to go for my appointment, and like I said, it's only like an hour long. I have to see my issue in life, and I don't think that's an issue. It's an issue in the world that we live in. Is that I'm too open and too straightforward. Like I can't even say like, see, so I have to meet up with someone to speak to them about their mental health with something going on with in life with them. They feel ostracized from life because, you know, we live in a big world and in this time, they see everybody, like they see cliques and movies and people like, oh, families enjoying, and they don't really have that. So I'm going to go have some coffee with this beautiful individual and we're going to talk. And, you know, my thing is to show, okay, so my thing, when I want to solve a solution or come up with a solution in life about anything, not just investment or whatnot, like for this individual, solving it is not inviting them over to a house and have them being around a family once. That only makes it worse and stronger inside for them. Like now I feel more ostracized after they leave. At that moment, they're happy. But later, they're going to be way more lonely. And they want that even more, which is a good thing. But my thing is to show, what if you are going to be, you know, in a place where you're going to be alone? What if we go into times where there's so much war, crime, and everything, where you can't find happy times and family outside? It's too late for that. What do? That's where the solution comes in. You have to harness some sort of harmony within, and we have to find that tune. It's there and it's in everybody. I just have to, you know, speak with my friend and see where we can find it so that they can get on the right path of, hey, if there's no one there, I'm all I need. But I would like, you know, family or people to be there. But if they're not there, my life is not over. So there's a difference between a want and a need. I don't need people, but I want them there. And that's what the idea that I want to get in their head. So it's going to be just for some coffee. And again, like I said, if you guys want more AB, after that, around 8:30ish, I'll be more than happy to. If you guys have any more questions and you would bring them, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Just please put that in the comments section. I have about 2 more minutes in here, and then I'll be logging off. If you have any questions right now, also please throw them out. Oh, they're trying to do that in there, Florida too, Tahiti? Wow. I know they need to do that in California, because those fires, that's too crazy. That's too crazy. That's too much. So yeah, those fires are deadly and very catastrophic and costly too. Oh, thank you, Mikey. Yeah, it's nothing. I actually find pleasure in doing stuff like that. That's why my faith in the Lord Almighty is so strong, because I feel like when He created people, He created so many different people. In order for the angel to exist, there had to be a devil, so that you can see the differences between this is why this is an angel and this is why this is a devil. You have to have bad in order for you to understand the good. Not that God has said, okay, I gotta have bad stuff happening in order for people to learn why bad is bad. But that's just the beauty of it. You know, everybody's different. Everybody have different interests and likes. And they're all needed and a necessity in this life that we're living in, so that we all can complete each other's lives. And ultimately, it comes back to each individual to expose themselves to all that stuff, to all that. Bring in what you want, the good. Bring the good in, and it's up to you to also know what you expose yourself to. The good is there. There's a lot of it. And if you choose to expose yourself to the bad, there's also a lot of it. Whatever you're looking for in this world, you'll find it. Trust me. And in these days, it even got accessible even much easier and faster. You don't even need to go and look for it sometimes. It can come straight to you. If you want it, you can find it. You know? So it's all about what you expose yourself to. And it's also a necessity in this life to have all these things. It's kind of like a big store. You know, when you go in, they have everything. But when you go home, you're not taking everything with you. I know some of you are. But ultimately, it's up to you to choose what you want from all that. You leave out the bad, you take out the good, and you continue on with your life, because it doesn't stop there. There's many more to come, many more that have already left before us. So appreciate you, Mikey. Gary Trevino, hope AMC rips soon. Yeah, I hope it rips soon. It's like I said before, there's no particular catalyst that's gonna kick us into this. In fact, the way that, okay, let me re-explain this real quick. Let's say the Evergrande was supposed to be the thing that brings down, or the catalyst to bring this down, hypothetically speaking, because we know that they didn't yet. What they do is to curb that catalyst from obliterating them, is they find work like underwater works around it, so that they can funnel through, so that it is a catalyst, but they got a way out of it. Almost each single one of them. Why are they doing that? Why is that in their best of their interest? Because they have a particular agenda, and they know. That's why I also always say that they already lost. They know that they lost AMC and the meme stock and the stock market dilemma. In fact, you see that it's just taking time, obviously, that we're going to have T0, T+1, T0, you know, whether a year or two or any time. This SEC has been notorious for suddenly coming out of nowhere and saying, okay, we're going to put this on the register, and it's up. In fact, when we squeeze, I do believe that this is what's going to happen. We squeeze, and while we're squeezing all this stuff, when they're ready, they will let the squeeze happen. Then they will bring all these regulations right following it too, saying that, okay, we're going to do this. The CAT system, we're going to implement it now. We're going to do this. They're going to rush everything in. Why? It's going to seem like to us like it's a rush, but they've already had all that planned out. Like, when is that perfect moment? When it gets to it, they will let MOASS go in. All this stuff is shoved in with it too, to make it seem like, yes, the regulations did give us the MOASS. But in reality, in my opinion, again, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. In my humble opinion, I think that this, when that right time comes, they will play it in a way like the regulations or the law got it there. And where in reality, we've been, as you can see, for a year and a half, 2 years, actually, almost. For me, it's almost 2 years and about 2 months. In September, it'll be 2 years. No justice. I always say this: justice delayed is justice denied. So watch, fact check me when this happens. When the squeeze and the MOASS happens, you're going to see all these things rushed right in the same time, or like a day before or something. Like, oh, damn, why are they putting all these things in? You're going to literally see that effect. Fact check me then when that happens. Again, not a lot of people see my stuff. So therefore, what, about 20, 22 people will go ahead and fact check me on this, but that's more than enough, right? It's not 100,000, it's not 1,000, it's not 100 people, but it's enough for me that you guys can fact check it, right? At least one can fact check it. That's more than enough for me. So when that happens, you're going to see all that stuff jammed in to make it seem like the system finally listened to its people. And when in reality, after all this manipulation that have happened throughout all these times and all these years, you know, you begin to question, if you really want the truth, you begin to question, how much did they make from this mockery for all these years? Yeah, I know we got our MOASS. I know we made our money, but how much more money did they make? Because here's the other thing you got to think about. All that, the way that it's going to break and be MOASS and nuclear reaction and everything, you know who's going to pay for that? You and I and the taxpayers. When taxes get higher in the Depression, when all the bankers and all these multi-billion dollar entities like the Kenny Griffin are trying to funnel their money over to the Caribbeans and the Swiss bank accounts, when all that is happening, they got their money, we got our money. What about the 90 other percent, the rest of the country that is not in the stock market? Because we're just this little, the people in the stock market. I mean, sometimes it feels like the whole world is an AMC for us, because it's a lot of people talking about it. This never happened before. But even with all our numbers, best believe we don't even make 2%, not even, of the population amount of the country that are not even in the stock market in general. Like what, like 90%, 80% are not even in the stock market in general. And the other 80, like, are all in ETFs, in hedge fund, and like in hedge funds and pension funds. And all those people are going to be paying for that MOASS, for the major crash across the whole market, not just in meme stocks, not just in AMC or GME, across the whole market. Where they jump into, this is why I always said that the war has already been over a long time ago. It's just about the time that they are letting that ball drop. When will they let that drop? When they also, another thing that is being clear now, is getting clear, the image is getting clear. I've been crying wolf so many times about the crypto market. You see that major drop and it's paying off for this, but in the same time, there is some entities that are creating market maker system, and they already got partnerships with all the dealer brokers that we are in, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, all the payment for order flow apps are all coming into the system. And all they're waiting for now is the SEC to go ahead and give them the final thumbs up or the approval to put it down. My hypothetical thinking here is, when they get the go ahead for this, because they're going to implement their own system, with this drop, this major crash in crypto, and it's going to get worse, all those market makers and those brokers, one, they are loading up to corner that market, literally loading up on all that dip. Now they're getting in underneath everybody. Paper hands shaked out the crypto realm. As far as the cryptos themselves, all of it is being scooped up by these entities. They even took out competition that they feel like was strong in that realm. Celsius, look at what's happening with them. Goldman has been creating billions of dollars to try to go ahead and buy out Celsius things for a decimal of the price, just in case when they go insolvent, which eventually they will go insolvent. You'll see when somebody like that big sharpens up their knife and everything, it's they're gonna eat. Somebody's gonna get killed, and they're gonna get them. Voyager, everybody's talking about them now, especially throughout yesterday, I think, in the weekend. They have stopped transactions throughout all their platform. You got Coinbase dumping out employees. In fact, going even bolder and telling their employees, if you don't like your job, get the fuck out, quit. 1. 2, they told their investors that if we were to go bankrupt, just to let y'all know, if we go bankrupt, your assets could go down with us too. Wow. So much for business ethics, right? For a big entity. That's for me. I've never heard that in the professional world. No professional entity will ever say something like this. It's crazy. It's crazy. Not even in my business. Imagine you come to my business. One of them is a restaurant. Imagine you come to my restaurant and you tell me a Greek burrito. That's the name of it. And you tell me, I want a Greek burrito. And then I say, okay, I'm going to make it for you. But let me tell you this. If I make it, I'm going to make it my way and you're going to like it. If you don't like it, you still have to pay for it. You're going to be like, okay, well, I've never tried you. You're the one who's, telling me like, this is the best euro in town, the best euro or gyro or however way people want to say it, or hero that you want to eat. This is the best. How do I know that? How do I know it's the best? How do I give you my dollar, my hard-earned dollar? Well, you already give me your money right now. You can't see right there. It's not professional anymore. You got to let your transactions and your business speak for you, not your mouth. And that's what Coinbase is doing. So in a nutshell, all of this is happening. And when all this is cornerstoned, because that's the real prize, the digital world, everything is going digital and they want to control it and they want to cornerstone it. They've been working on it for months. It's all done. They just spoke to the SEC saying, we're just waiting on you. We even got ATFs lined up. They're going to be able to do the same thing. That's their way of solving the issue of buy and hold, especially in the crypto realm, because people are holding. And if they come in, if the market maker comes in right now, it's tough. But if they own almost every major crypto, or the ones with real proof of concept, because I do believe many of them are going to get ostracized and people are going to lose a lot of money. But those certain ones with concept, proof of concept, those are being loaded up on. So they're going to be the absolute bottom and hold majority of that float. Them and their partners, whether brokers, other brokers, or other market makers like Virtue or Sequoia. And at that point, when people come in with the idea of buy and hold to the crypto realm, they can literally control when they dump from one side so that they can keep the price down, or when they pump to make sure that they make more money as well. Again, it's their same games, but they're being transferred to a digital realm rather than just the physical or obviously the stock market. Once again, much love to all of you guys. Let me see if everybody wants me to come back after. Reading some real quick before I leave. I don't want my friend to feel like I'm ditching them on a holiday like this. All right. Neil Jones, it's great to listen to someone giving a genuine opinion without all the bullshit hype. Appreciate you, Neil. It means the world to me to know that somebody else feels what I'm really feeling or saying on the inside, my true agenda. Frankie, that's smart to make the short squeeze seem like it's because of their regulations. Exactly. They sell you on this thing that, oh, once this gets passed, they want to keep your eyes there so you don't look at transactions. And they want you to keep hoping. And when that doesn't work, guess what is that tied up to? Your psyche. Your psychological work, like whole effect is being tied up to this. Oh, this got passed. Nothing happened. oh my God, that means there's no squeeze. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to get everybody to that. So don't tie your hopes to any particular idea. We're not tied up to the cat system. We're not tied up to any system. We're not tied up to the like any particular regulation. The important ones, you'll see that ATS market maker. That's the most important thing. That, in my opinion, that's the most important thing. Everybody cries out about the dark pools. It's true. It's correct. But you're not thinking about the ultimate picture in the background of what's really happening. All right. Go Lions, Mrs. Tahiti. Arthur, no bears in here. All right, I really gotta go. Let me add one more last question again. Tell me, guys, if you want me to come back after 8, which is in another hour or so, to continue more Q&A, I'll be more than happy to. Just put it right here so I would know. Arthur, AB, your thoughts on an intervention by government and then setting a capped price? Oh, okay. This is a good question, Arthur, because it's not a quick one to answer. There's a lot of counts to it. Okay, one, government, they've already been intervened in this a long time ago. They've done it in 2021 when they made that, take that button off. So one, from the NSCCC, that's what many reports came down to. So they know that they have already been in complete, what's the best word here? Control over this. Why? Because they're ultimately the ones that are going to print all the money for all this. They know that it's not going to just be the hedge funds paying or anything. I personally don't even think that any of these hedge funds will pay. Like many of the smaller ones will get triumphed and stepped on and everything, but some big entities that can bring the whole economy down, again, this is in my opinion, they will be somehow protected. How? By big bailouts. How do you get a bailout? Have to be a publicly traded company. And obviously, like those banks, how do you think that in 2008, the bailout came out? Because these are all tied up to the overall economy of, it's not a private fund where it just loses its money and its investors' money. No, this is connected to the overall economy. So they are already intervened in it, in my opinion. And overall, in a nutshell, I think that they will, when it gets to a certain, which we don't know yet what that certainty is. This is why they've let this play go on for so long, to play with your head so that you can devalue your play. This is why I believe they sent out many creators out there to tamper your expectations, especially the ones that the movement began with. Now they change in their thoughts because they used to say one thing and now they're saying something completely different. That's another process, part of the process. Another thing that is part of the process because they need to do this. Excuse me. Last but not least, when all this stuff fails and everybody's mental capacity and their conviction holds through and people are mentally still holding, there is no way they can say, okay, we got to go against the dynamics of the market, because that's the dynamics. When it works for them and nothing stops the process, why is it when it comes to us, the process stops and now the government needs to halt it? Look what happened with, what was it, silver? In the London market. Was it silver or, you know what it was, guys. Somebody could bring it in. I'm just thinking about the appointment. That's why. And you know how those entities have all stopped trading in it for 2-3 days, so that it brought the price down. A lot of people could sell. So ultimately, I do believe it comes down to this conviction, the sentiment of the holders themselves. That's who matters the most. And more importantly than all of that as well, is if they were to step in, that means, I just want to let you guys know, if the government intervenes and yanks it off the thing, that means you've already succeeded. I just want to let you guys know that, because they're not going to take it off the docket at 72 or 100 or 300 or 400 or 500. Again, not financial advice, but we've seen it. They didn't take nothing off when many stocks have went even further. Now, the magnitude of this is much bigger. So I personally think that eventually it would all be taken care of. The thing is that afterwards, who's going to pay for all of this? taxpayers, which we are in that bracket, but we at least got so much money. So we are okay with paying a lot of tax, especially if we got a lot of money. And there's a lot of loopholes too that you could do to take care of some things. But the taxpayer, which is about 80 to 90% of this that are not in this play in the stock market, those people are going to get stepped on. Unfortunately, they're going to get hurt. And that's why I always say, look for people or communities, or in your community, look to empower your community. I'm not saying go ahead and give out your money. I'm not telling you to do anything, but look for your community and try to make sure that you're a beacon of light in that community. Because if every person, since we're all over the country and all over the world, if you could be a beacon in that particular community, you don't need to reach out to the whole world. Just be a beacon of light in your own community, and that community will at least have a much better standing. And then if each person is doing that, look at that. That's a collective work, just like we did with the stock to get it to squeeze. We will also get the world to become a much better place. I do believe, have high expectations for us, and I can see where we can go from here. We made a very good stance, and the fruits of it is not just monetary. I feel like our what we could do afterwards could change the whole world for good, because it's millions of us. And the one thing that always tied us down was capital, because that's their tool for making sure you don't have enough money so that you can always be controlled by them via working so many hours. How many of you in here work 90, 100 hours a week, 80, 70 hours a week? People no longer live, work to work, they no longer live and because they're working to live, not living to work. And it's like living to work, working to live. Which one is it? And it's like all crazy. Everybody's life is like this. We could change all that. Millions of us now at that point, would have so much capital, nothing tying us down, and we could go make a difference anywhere in this world. Nickel. Thank you, Neil Jones. Appreciate you. Hopefully that answers it, Arthur. There's more to it. I just wanted to kind of rush through it because I have that appointment. I'm going to go to it. Okay, Jeffrey Alka and Mario, Mr. Panulo, how are you? Just another ape. Hey, what's up, brother? Yes, I showed it. In fact, you know what? I re-echo your Stephen. I re-echo your sentiment with that 17 to 18. If you look at my last live, there's a part where I showed an AMC chart, and I showed where we would go, and then from there is very important that $17 to $18 from that point. If we get capped and drop back down, in fact, I would like to extend that 17, 18 overall in a bigger picture, 18 to 24.67. 24.67, if we get up to that point and then right back down, then we're continuing the overall bearish sentiment that started back in June of 2021 after forming that bull flag. So yes, it will still go within that trend. If we break through that and we break into the 30s, my opinion, not financial advice, MOASS will be up on us. Much love to all of you guys. I will come back after 8. Some people in here. So if you want to get more and have more questions and you want to know more, check your boy out in a bit. Thank you guys for all stepping in. Sorry for leaving quickly, but like I said, this was not even supposed to be an hour long. It was supposed to be 30 minutes. I give you guys more. Hopefully my appointment is not mad at me. Much love. AB Investments. See you at 8.